Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arth. We've done another boxing of the offline product game review. This is HUNTDOWN for the PlayStation 4, but being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here comes with the update version 1.06 right on the disc, but sadly there was an update available. This update size was 770 megabytes big and will take it to version 1.08 since the time making this video. Now like always, I play all my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any massive game breaking bugs or issues. And as well, I was still unlocking trophies with my unregistered account. Now this is my first time playing HUNTDOWN or know anything about HUNTDOWN, so I was literally pleased to see that the game did come with a good amount of updated version of the game on disc of 1.06. But it is disappointing that the 1.08 update gets you like a horde mode kind of style game, which is really disappointing that's not on the disc. But in the end, I'm still pretty happy with this build on version on disc, how it performs and how it plays. It's just your run and gun shoot 'em up kind of style games. Think of something like Metal Slug or Contra or something like that, where you start left and you run right, you fight a small little horde of enemies, and then you fight a boss, and that boss is quite varied in terms of difficulty or pattern memorization. And that's probably the only real problem with the bosses. They are a bit of a trial and error system where you just basically got to learn the pattern and then you die and then you kind of just rinse and repeat until you pretty much figure it out. But thankfully the bosses are not too difficult in my personal opinion. It does spike up in difficulty right near the end, but the overall bosses were really charming in how they presented. Clearly the highlight of the game is the boss fights and the overall flow of the game, as well as of course the environment and the beautiful sprite graphic details, which I greatly liked, as well as the copyright-free soundtrack. I didn't play with the copyrighted soundtrack, so I have no idea what that music is like, so I played with just strictly the copyright-free music, and I actually really enjoyed the music in the game. It was very fitting to each section of the level. But you do get to play as three kind of characters from the beginning of the game, and you're like bounty hunters. You got to hunt down a specific target, and as you're hunting down that specific target, you're giving like other bounties along the way. And as well as that, when you're going through the level, you got to find the stashes, which is basically like a collectible, and as well as that, you hit a certain number of kills throughout your hunt. These are not required by any means, other than having to kill the specific boss in each region. But if you're a completionist, I didn't go out of my way to 100% complete the game, because it was just fun to just start from left and run to right and just pick up guns and using up the environments and stuff like that. But the overall presentation of the game, the sound effects, the overall style, I greatly enjoyed. Now there was some minor hiccups and a little bit of problems, and I will go into that. First off, this is not the biggest issue in certain moments, but there are problems where I can't really tell what kind of gun the enemy has at certain moments, like if they have a sawed-off shotgun or a pistol, which could be pretty important information at certain moments, because I can't tell whether I am safe at a distance or I should be trying to prepare for a shotgun. It's just sometimes it can be a little difficult to tell what kind of gun the enemy has when they're pointing it at you, before, of course, until they shoot it and then you realize, oh, they had a shotgun or a pistol. Now the other one that a little bit annoyed me is that the same button to switch out your gun to the other backup gun is the same button to pick up a new gun. I found this a little bit frustrating because there's a few times I had a gun right by me and I just wanted to use my shotgun or a rocket launcher, and I didn't want to pick up the machine gun, and then you pick up the machine gun or other objects and it doesn't drop where you're standing. It like kind of tosses the gun that you picked up and threw the one you don't want anymore. And since it throws it, I did have a few times where I threw the gun off the ledge or fall into groups of enemies that I didn't want to have to happen. I just found that a little annoying, considering the game has, all these buttons, and they couldn't bother to make the gun switching or gun pickup a different button. I was a little disappointed by that. Now, it's only fine if these games get like a special port for like the older generation consoles that doesn't have as many buttons, but I don't think this game ever got that, so I don't see what the benefit was of not utilizing all the buttons on the controller or mouse and keyboard or whatever. It just seems like a little bit of an oversight. Now, granted, the game's graphical sprite graphics and presentation is really beautiful, but sometimes it can be very mayhem, and it can be very easy to lose track where you are or see projectiles coming at you. Now, some people really enjoy that kind of stuff. To me, I don't really like it when I have no idea where I'm at or where I'm going, or what's hitting me. I just found that frustrating a few times. I wish there was a little bit better indicator to be able to see projectiles coming at me, or try to reduce the amount of explosions and stuff like that. Just something to help me find my player when I'm playing. Especially if you play 2 players, which I got to play a little bit with my brother on 2 players. We only mess around a little bit. These are not really the genres we're really into, like beat 'em ups and excessive shoot 'em ups like this, but I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I loved the presentation. We played a little bit of it, and we did lose control, eyesight where our character is, and sometimes we actually started looking at the other player's character. So, again, it can be very frustrating in that area, especially if you're not attuned with it. As well as that, I complained about this in other games, where when you start the game, like, the developer's logo will pop up, and the game's developer's logo has a really loud sound it plays, and I don't really like that. I don't like loud sounds immediately. I try to, even my videos, I try my best to make sure there's not no loud sound right at the start of the video or anything like that. I just found that a little frustrating. I know that's not really having anything to do with the game, but just keep that in mind if you have headphones or you have your speakers or you're trying to be quiet to some degree. Before you even get into the game splashes the developer's logo, and it's really loud, so just bear that in mind. As well as that, while this game is a fast-paced shoot-'em-up kind of style game, there is slight delays. What I mean by this is that most like these 2D kind of style games, if you want to fall down underneath a platform that's available, you usually got to push down and X at the same time, and you fall down for the platform. Well, there is a slight delay on this. You can't push them at the same time. You need to push down first, then press X. Why this is that the character needs to do his small little sprite animation as he's crouching, and when he's finally crouched, then you can press the X button to drop down. I know these are a little bit of nitpicking, but for something that's fast-paced, and most games work with you just push it at the same time. I did notice it a few times, like after you just pull the trigger and shoot, if you're trying to take cover, there is a slight delay. You have to wait till a person unloads all the rounds. Let's say you got a semi-burst rifle or something like that. You can't shoot once and immediately take cover. You have to wait till all the projectiles has shot out of the gun before you can take cover. There's just these slight little delays and stuff like that, which, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just how the game is designed, and you just got to appropriate yourself with that kind of style of gameplay. It's just a bear in mind. As well as the melee in the combat, which is great. I love the game has a little bit like a melee at close range, but sometimes it's kind of hard to tell when exactly you're going to activate your melee attack, and since there's no dedicated button for this, you can only do it when you get really close to an enemy. It can be really frustrating sometimes when you didn't mean to melee, or you wanted to do something else, or you thought you were going to be close to doing a melee and he just shoots instead. I wish, again, this was a dedicated button, so that way you could have a little bit more control of the melee aspect of the game. But, again, I just don't know why the developers don't want to utilize the entire controller at times. I just find that a little frustrating. But other than that, I actually really enjoyed the game. Like I said, it's not going to be anything amazing in terms of story. You're just a bounty hunter, and your job is to hunt down a specific character and collect the bounty. That's it. You get to play 2 players. It's just a running gun, fight bosses, great sprite graphics, good sound effects, pretty good soundtrack. It's overall a fairly decent experience. It's not the deepest and richest experience. There's no RPG mechanics. There's no special upgrades or anything like that. And I think it took me around 4 to 5 hours to beat the game. Now, again, I didn't 100% complete the game, but I did beat it, and I relatively enjoyed it. Overall, again, the voice acting was actually fairly good. The overall flow of the game, and each character you get to choose from at the beginning of the game, all have their own special kind of style approaches. Where you have one character who has a semi-burst pistol, and it throws a Tamikachi axe as a throwable. And then you have one character who has a magnum. It's really powerful, but it's got a slow fire rate, and he throws a boomerang. And then you have a robot, which I think the robot fits the universe the best. I think he looks the coolest. He has a normal pistol, but you have to semi-automatic. We have to pull the trigger every single time. And as well as that, he's got throwing knives. So each character has their own kind of unique aspects to them, which I thought was kind of interesting in terms of who you're going to want to like to play as the most. To me, in terms of presentation, I think the cyborg or robot person looks the best, but in terms of probably gameplay and probably best character, in my personal opinion, would probably be the character with the Magnum and the boomerang. I found that to be the most utility useful in terms of boomerang swinging it and it comes right back to you. You can hit multiple enemies, not only as it hits them, and it hits them as it comes back. I found that the most universally useful in terms of his throwable, and since his Magnum is pretty powerful, you just gotta adjust yourself to the slow fire rate. Overall, again, I had a fun time with it. It's an interesting experience. Sure, if you can pick it up, put it on your shelf. It's a fully working copy, had no issues, it was unlocking trophies. Then I have no really complaints. I just wish that update was on the disc, the 1.08, which included the Horde mode. But I don't know how much I would have messed around with the Horde mode, because the game is clearly just meant to be like a side-scroller shoot-'em-up. But in the end, I'm fairly happy with it, and I think it's well worth the look into put on your shelf if you're interested in it. So again, thank you all so much for watching. I will provide links down in the description if you're interested in the copy. As I said, fully working copy, had no real issues, good soundtrack, good sprite works, good shoot-'em-up style game. If you're looking for a good co-op game, you just want to mess around with a friend, family, or loved one, whatever, it's available as that as well. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!